Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Now we're on to our next installment in the three roundtable Super Spring Spectacular. I like to call it a massive crossover event, but that's me. So this has been a day-long event where we're going to celebrate all things super through the lens of games, comics, graphic novels, films, and media of all sorts. My name is Atina Lavanos Probst, she, her, and I am the digital librarian at PBS. And I am the incoming chair of the Film and Media Roundtable. And with me today also, we have Elliot Stevens. Do you want to introduce yourself, Elliot?
Yes, thanks, Atina. My name is Elliot Stevens. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a librarian at the University of Washington, Seattle.
All right, and we also have Danielle helping us out.
Thank you so much. I'm Danielle Costello. I'm a research and instruction librarian at Louisiana State University, and I run Games RT event programming stuffs.
Awesome. So this event is being held live. However, if you need to leave or you want to watch it again because you think we're just amazing and hilarious, it's going to be available on Twitch on demand, which will be accessible after the end of the event. And links for all the places you can find us are on our partner roundtables, will be posted in the chat, as well as a super huge resource list that we are adding to everywhere we go. So please go ahead and check those out. All right, so for this issue in the crossover, we are going to be playing around with ChatGPT, doing some like superhero improv Mad Libs thing. So we want to go, and what we're going to be doing is talking about. We're going to do some superhero movie trivia. So this one's sponsored by the Film and Media Roundtable. So we are going to be talking about trivia from the films and movies, not the comics, when you think to answer your trivia questions. But what we're going to do, we're going to put out trivia questions, we're going to say them, we're going to put them in the Twitch chat, and then when you get the first person to get the question right, the trivia question right, gets to fill in one of our three sections on a ChatGPT kind of improv Mad Lib. So we're always going to have two characters from any superhero property you want, go nuts, and a situation. So character set up, and we are going to feed that into ChatGPT to get us a script that we will then do our level best to read in some sort of interesting way for you. And then we want to talk about how well this AI is putting out things that sound like these character voices. We know what these characters sound like. We know what kinds of situations get written for them. So we're going to play with how well something that has been fed on multimedia can output some multimedia. So that is our game. It's going to be hopefully silly and light and interactive. And with that, everybody good? Are you excited? My team's excited.
Let's go.
All right. So, Elliot, do you want to kick us off with our first trivia question?
Yeah, and again, just I'm going to be throwing out some trivia here. It's going to be really interesting, really fantastic trivia. And whoever wins this first bit of trivia, you get to choose the superheroes that are going to be involved in our Chat GPT script. So I think we need at least two. We're going to need two superheroes. So the winner of this will pick the superheroes. And then the winner of the next question will pick a situation that these superheroes find themselves in. And the winner of the third question will be able to pick a place. And so I put a link in our chat here in Twitch, and there's a link to a Google Doc, and you can see we give an example. And so in the example, we have it's a movie script for Wolverine and Deadpool where they are being really nice to each other in a hot dog stand. And so that has characters, Wolverine and Deadpool. It has a place, a hot dog stand, and it has a situation, which is just they're being nice. Okay, so first trivia question. This is for our superheroes. I'm going to put this in the Google Doc, but I guess we can also put it, we could put it just in the chat as well. The first question is, the Joker has many origins in movies, but in Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, how was the Joker created?
We're still hung up on the kindness at a hot dog stand, which is legitimately delightful.
Yeah, and the script, they are nice to each other about those hot dogs.
Which is extra funny considering those two actors, in all honesty.
This is fair. And chat, you feel free to put it in the Twitch. We will pick it up. Whoever is the first and first correct, we will let you do whatever you want. And if it's too hard, then we will give you the answer and we'll go to another trivia question as well. Let's go, chat. Oh, did he fall into a vat? Says Prof. Russ.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. So Prof. Runsell, you're correct. Joker fell in, before he was the Joker, he fell into a vat of chemicals. Poor Jack Napier. So Prof. Runsell, we're gonna have ChatGPT join us in just a little bit. Who are the superheroes you would like to see involved in our movie script?
This is like the best kind of fan fiction writing. And for those of you who aren't familiar with ChatGPT is a natural or a language processing AI that can be used in a multitude of formats. It might have come up in a class, it might have come up in general discussion. We do have resources for you to explore more about chat as what it is in general and its kind of potential impacts on various industries and higher education. We've added those resources as well for you guys to look into. Let's see. Squirrel Girl
And
and
do you have a second one for us?
Could use one more.
Yes.
also maybe this is very dramatic.
Oh man. Drama.
All the heroes and all the worlds. It'll be Squirrel Girl and
Pterodactyl guy.
Oh, do you mean from what is his name? Sauron from the Savage Lands. That's Pterodactyl guy.
I like it.
Sauron. All right. We're one third.
That's gonna be great because that's gonna confuse the poor little thingy. Sauron's from the Savage Land in his short jorts.
All right. Atina, do you have some
I
trivia
do.
for our
right now? I'm
attendees?
just pleased that I remember Sauron's name. All right, so classic one hits over a bunch of different things, but what does SHIELD stand for?
Oh. I got 3/4 of the letters, I think. I do appreciate SHIELD so much because I did work for the government for a couple of years, and there are so many acronyms. There's so many that you have to learn. And I feel really genuinely as humans, we do try to make them into real words. So completely canonically real life, yes, the government would try to make SHIELD and make the letters make sense post fact.
Oh, you're close. You're close, Tiff.
Oop. Oop. That was our tech crew. It's all right. The voice of God came down and talked a little bit about exciting things. Superhuman intelligence land defense. Close.
Not quite.
There should be an E in there somewhere.
What do you think, Atina? Could we accept 2/3?
All right, we will
or 2/5 or whatever many there are.
to give
Sticks.
because I know Tiffany and I want to see where she puts these people, honestly. So SHIELD stands for the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
And so Tiffany wins.
So we're gonna let Tiffany pick some things because I am curious to see how her brain works because this is gonna be dangerous for all of us and I like it.
So what do we need? A situation? We need a situation for Squirrel Girl and Sauron.
Yep.
What do you think, Tiffany? What kind of situation?
I know what. I wish I knew it because then I know what situation I would want.
Oh, geez. That's correct. It's not easy. It's fun.
There's so much pressure. We put so much pressure on a chat that was able to be really chill up until this point.
It's like, no, chat. Now we've brought you into our world. We want you to be script writers instantly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the word spring, the word super, the word spectacular,
Mhm.
there can be chill aspects to it, but
Oh my
A
god,
also
bad
bad
a
day.
date!
bad date. There we go.
Yes.
There we
You read
go.
my mind. You read my mind.
This is
Ah,
amazing. I'm so pleased with
spectacular.
our lives. Alright, so
Location, yes.
one more piece of trivia for a location.
All right, so even though this is a film and media roundtable thing, and most of our questions are specifically about movies and about shows, we're gonna go, I wouldn't say totally off script, but a little bit. I think this is maybe kind of still involved with movies. But what I would really like to know from the audience is, what is the sound effect for Spider-Man's spider web? As the spider stuff, as his stuff comes out of his, wherever it comes out of his wrists, what's the sound effect for his spider
Yes.
fluid?
Elizabeth got it.
Liz
That
got it.
fast?
Yes.
With a resounding
It's not shick or shwip. It is very much the whip.
The whip.
That's a
Um,
really fun sound to make.
It is. It sounds very good in songs too, because my niece is watching the new Spider-Man kind of little animated series, and it has a song 50 times in a row. Whip whip still sounds great.
That's hard to do with any other word. Alright. So tell us where, Squirrel Girl and Sauron are on this bad date.
Oh,
On a cruise
cruise
ship.
ship.
ooh, they can't
Alrighty.
escape each other. This is
Oof.
amazing.
That's adding to that being a bad date, isn't it? Alright.
So I will now, using ChatGPT, the thing that we're all talking about these days. We wonder, is this good? Is this bad? What is it doing
Ultron
to
and JARVIS.
education? What is it doing to creative writing? Will it have an effect on the film industry and the writing of scripts? Um, I think there are a lot of questions out there. Will ChatGPT know what to do with Squirrel Girl or Sauron? Like, it seems like maybe there could be some confusion there about which Sauron are we talking about. But I'm just going to plug something into ChatGPT, and I'm going to copy and paste it into our Google Doc script. So just give me a second here.
And, while we do that, who wants to take which voice?
Oh, I don't know. Do you want to I'll flip you for it.
Okay, roll me
Okay.
for it. Um,
Even do you want evens or odds?
I'll take evens.
Okay, perfect. Who do you want if you win?
Sauron.
You absolutely win. It was a 4. Ah, good.
This way
Ah,
I get to use my incredibly weird, scary mom voice.
that works. I have no idea what Squirrel Girl sounds like. I've only once again played her in Marvel Snap, but again, I still love her card because it was very useful. It brings little squirrels into all the locations.
Tippy toe, gotta do it. I feel like Squirrel Girl is just gonna be super, just a little manic.
Yeah, high energy, definitely
High
high energy
energy,
character.
easily distracted, especially by nuts.
Very true. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Eats nuts, kicks butts.
That's not a tagline.
No, that is
It
her that's
is?
her
Okay,
tagline,
good.
yeah.
It
They
should.
did when they redid, they reissued her first 5 of the Ryan North run, they
Mhm.
just put each word of the tagline on a cover. With Ryan North very much opening realizing that there was gonna be one that just said "butts" in really big letters, and he was like, "It's perfect."
Yes, I love humanity. We come up with the funnest things.
Alright, so
Right. So I could have let
we
this go on for a long time. We could have like a 100-page script here, but it's, at least for our first round here, I'm keeping it a little bit short. And so what I fed into ChatGPT was a film script for Squirrel Girl and Sauron having a bad date on a cruise ship. And I forget, do we need anybody to read just like the narrative description?
I think, you'll be the voice of God for this round, Elliot.
Fade in. Exterior. Cruise ship. Day. The sun is shining brightly over the ocean, and the waves gently crash against the side of the cruise ship. A small figure can be seen perched on the railing, overlooking the water. It's Squirrel Girl, a teenage superhero with the powers of a squirrel.
Wow, this cruise ship is so amazing. I can't wait to explore all the different activities they have to offer.
Suddenly, a large figure swoops down from the sky and lands on the deck. It's Sauron, a giant pterodactyl man with the ability to hypnotize others.
Hello, my dear. I couldn't help but notice you from above. Might I join you for a stroll around the ship?
Sure. That sounds nice.
They start walking around the ship, exploring the different activities and attractions. However, things quickly turn sour. Interior, cruise ship restaurant, night. Squirrel Girl and Sauron are seated at a candlelit table, surrounded by other couples enjoying their meals. However, the mood between them is tense.
I can't do that graveliness for that long. I can't believe they don't have any meat on this menu. How am I supposed to eat a salad?
Well, you could always try the veggie burger. It's supposed to be really good.
I refuse to eat anything so unnatural. I need meat to survive.
Squirrel Girl looks uncomfortable and starts fidgeting with her napkin. End scene.
And
And
scene.
That is the beginning of Marvel's Squirrel Girl and Sauron. Who knows where it would appear on TV, Disney Plus, or in the theater, but that's what it would be. That's how it would go. Um, maybe as you could have guessed, it would have been very hard for us to get public performing rights for this session, so we couldn't really play the Avengers or anything like that. So
so
we are having our own fun, making our own fun, doing all this.
Because this is legal,
Because
kids.
this is legal, believe it or not. We're allowed to do this. This is
fair
totally cool.
rights.
The mouse will not track us down and punish us. And so we're kind of curious for those of you in the audience, what do you think about, maybe you're someone who's already been using ChatGPT a ton, so maybe you even have suggestions for us for how to get better results. Or if you haven't used ChatGPT, what do you notice about the script or the information or just the way it's constructed? Is there anything that just sticks out to you or that you think is interesting?
I mean, we have some general amusement,
Hmm.
which is makes me glad.
Yeah, I think that was my first. When I was starting to play with chat, it was a lot of fun to be like, this is strange and unusual because there's, I feel, a disconnect between character and what you're getting sometimes. And part of that is we had very silly scenarios to do that, but also I don't think chat understands quite, unless you start prompting it very carefully with, more nuance, who these characters are at all. Like it was very much pterodactyl man, but Squirrel Girl did not come out at all, like other than like this is Squirrel Girl and that is it.
Yeah, I think I'm proud of it right now for disambiguating Sauron. When coupled with
Yeah.
Squirrel Girl, I'm because hands down the more popular one is a giant glowing eyeball. Um, so I'm actually pretty impressed by that. But I think when you're feeding it something weird like this, both character voices are just real off.
Hmm.
But I'm also just kind of personally astounded that it recognized our little jort wearing pterodactyl. I'm going to keep saying jorts because it keeps making you giggle, and I'm 9 years old.
We have some cool comments in the chat. Just looks like Tiffany noticed that it does include definitions for different things. So, we do see that ChatGPT is trying to sneak in some little phrases that maybe give us some information that show that, maybe something about the characters. With to play as human, this is good information. We haven't really tried this out yet, but you can direct the scene by giving feedback, and ChatGPT will rewrite the scene, which can get interesting. So I think
Ooh.
for our next round, we're going to try different characters, a different situation, a different place. But maybe if we were a film, like a scriptwriter, we really wanted to stick with Squirrel Girl and Sauron. Is
Mhm.
that right to play as human? That we could just stick with this idea and kind of start correcting ChatGPT and kind of
Yeah.
give it almost like give it notes?
I like that idea. How about we can let the next set of trivia, the audience members can decide like what nuance to add,
Mhm.
like, and then we'll just be like, chat, rewrite this with this type of nuance, or make it like in there was more, make it more comedic or make it more scary. So yeah, chat seems
So
to
maybe
like
with the
that.
second, so let's try that with the second round. We'll pick
Yeah.
new characters, new scene, new situation, but maybe let's do a follow up. And maybe to play as human, if you want to give us an idea for the follow up.
Ooh, yes.
All right. Well, round two. Here we
All
go.
right. All right, so in our opener, I talked about how much I deeply love Batman the Animated Series, and I will never stop talking about how much I love Batman the Animated Series. But who knows who voiced the Joker in Batman the Animated Series? And there's a bit where I'm just like, y'all are allowed to Google if you want.
That's fair. This isn't pub style trivia or Rusa, which, if you are at annual, we will be doing Games RT with Rusa, a trivia to, proclaim the greatest librarian of all the land. Ooh, let's go, Tiffany. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't just go for it. Mark Hamill.
Yes, the
Got it.
amazing Mark
Yes.
Hamill voiced the Joker. Very much. All right, so that means you get to pick our people.
I'm waiting with bated breath. This is the best part where I'm like, what is brewing in the minds of our beautiful chat? And I say chat, I'm going to distinguish Twitch chat, chat GTP. Because chat is fun in that its data set is relatively recent. It was 2021, so we'll have most up to date IP. Yes, and I have tried to write superhero librarians.
Oh, Tiffany, you can definitely use famous characters. Any characters. We're
Hmm.
just
Yeah,
this is superhero. This is a superhero focused event. So these just have to be superheroes. And it doesn't have to be Marvel or DC. I mean, go for it. I mean, it could be
Chat is
I
able to
will do this
find.
as Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
That is fine.
Oh, yes. Chad, what do you know about Sailor Scouts? That is one thing when I'm playing with the system and trying to find out kind of the depth and breadth of what you can do, kind of prompting by like, do you know this particular area will kind of shrink its immense data set into, oh, we're talking about Sailor Moon. Here's all the things versus, oh, when I say Luna, it's not trying to figure out, do I mean Luna the animal companion or Luna as in the goddess of the moon or all these variations. Buffy, yes,
so Buffy the
yes.
Vampire Slayer, and then we need at least one more person.
Who is Buffy gonna hang out with? Who would Buffy hang out with? Generally a lot of people, I think.
I think most. Buffy's both
So,
high strung and easygoing. She's cool like that.
yeah, as long as you're not trying to eat her or her friends, and even
Yeah.
then,
Miss
And
Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Oh, those will.
that'd be
Kamala
great.
Khan's going to be a lot in that situation.
And that
All
actually is a
right.
pretty good segue because my trivia question has to do with um, Miss Marvel. So in the new Miss Marvel Disney Plus TV series, where is Kamala Khan's family from?
And don't be shy, chat. You can go. Competition, let's go. Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, actually. I need to get on it. There's a lot of IP or just series that I have been waiting for summertime as an
Mm-hmm.
academic librarian, which is
Oh yeah, okay, New
oh,
Jersey,
good
even
point.
before New Jersey. Great question. A certain location plays like a big part of the TV. Aside, I mean, New Jersey does, but even before New Jersey,
How
Like we're
many? Oh,
from once. There we go.
yeah,
yay!
Pakistan.
They're
Um,
Pakistani.
so Liz, we need a situation for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Miss Marvel.
Could be dating. Later on, I think we would have to age up. They could be fighting things, vampires. How would Miss Marvel react to vampires? Are vampires canonical in Marvel?
Yeah.
Competing in an academic competition of some kind.
Oh, that's
We
amazing.
yeah, we need to get
Oh, I
more
love them at a
specific.
science fair. I love this at a
Science fair.
science fair.
Science
Competing
fair.
in.
Oh, yes, and that's a location too. So science fair and our competition. Math. Oh, math.
Okay, stuff has decided it's a robot battle.
Robot battle.
Robot
Robot battle.
battle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Excellent.
So one more question for our tone, I guess, is all right. What
Vampires
year
do
did
get
the
stung.
first Iron Man movie come out? When when did this whole thing that we now know as the MCU really get its ball rolling?
But time is so wibbly wobbly now.
Time is wibbly wobbly, but it's also still pretty timey wimey. So,
Yes, Iron Man.
yep, Iron Man 1.
Do they number the Iron Mans, or is it Iron Man plus title for?
I think Iron Man was just Iron Man, and then it was Iron Man 2. Like
Hmm.
the Iron Men have not really gotten subtitles like the other ones have.
And I would like to recommend that IMDb is an excellent resource for when you need to know dates and people and
Hmm.
potential trivia questions for any trivias that are open book.
Again, this it's not cheating because we're telling you you're allowed.
Ooh, Doctor Who as a referee. I do like that.
Yeah, we do have a
2003.
Doctor Who close.
Close enough.
Close enough because it's hard to get answers. 2008 actually.
Nice.
So wait, what
So
do we
you
need
just like
from?
mirror the three and you got it. So
So, librarian Pablo, what would you like to have for your theme and general vibe of this encounter of Miss Marvel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in their robot competition? Just silly, serious, comedic, just a vibe.
horror.
What's the vibe?
I
Horror?
love how that's a very serious question, Jay. So what is the vibe?
What is the vibe?
Yes. I do wonder how much that will change. That would be an exciting thing to like just have that switch the vibes, because I was asking chat at one point to help me write an email, and I was like, I need you to take this down a notch. And
Mm,
it understood that I was like, no, the vibe is too serious. 80s robot dance comp. Yes, that is, I like that vibe.
Wait.
okay, so like we all agree that librarian Pablo and I should be friends, right?
A
Like this
hundred
is
percent. Yes.
I don't know you, but we're friends now. Also known as Atina still makes friends like a first grader in the first couple weeks of school.
How else can we make friends except those who have amazing, silly ideas?
I mean, that's your that's my main criteria.
All right, Elliot, you got all that?
This is like, I wish I had ChatGPT in my brain because I'm having a hard time processing, focusing. What I did was I put a movie script for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Miss Marvel participating in a school robot battle with a 1980s vibe or feeling.
Nice.
Yes.
Who wants to play whom?
I will be Buffy if you'll let me, because I love Buffy beyond all measure.
You're Buffy then.
If we're talking about seminal pieces of media that have changed our life, Buffy, particularly with Willow and Willow's entire story arc,
Mm.
that was super important to me.
In the name of rotating through the roles, Elliot, you want to be Miss Marvel and I'll be the voice of God?
Sure.
Sounds good. I feel
I
like this
didn't
is the best
quite.
thing I've done with my life on a Friday in a long time.
I feel like we have to do more chat roundtables where we're like, hello, AI, what is going on? What can we use you for?
All
I
right.
didn't quite vet all this, so I hope it's all good. ChatGPT seemed really excited about this. Like it happened very quickly. Like
It was
ChatGPT was
waiting for this prompt. It's
waiting,
like
eager.
emails, I don't care, business reports, whatever. This is what I live for.
All right, you guys. Fade in. Exterior, Sunnydale High School, day. A group of high school students are gathered around a large arena, cheering as two robot teams face off against each other. The arena is filled with a nostalgic 1980s vibe, with neon lights and retro arcade games lining the walls. Buffy Summers, a vampire slayer, and Kamala Khan, also known as Miss Marvel, watch from the sidelines.
This is crazy. I can't believe our school has a robot battle team.
I know, right? And they're actually pretty good.
Suddenly, a voice crackles over the loudspeaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest judges for today's match, Buffy Summers and Kamala Khan. The crowd cheers as Buffy and Kamala step forward, taking their seat at the judges' table. Buffy glances over to Kamala and grins.
You ready for this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
The match begins, and the two teams send their robots charging into battle. Sparks fly as metal collides with metal, and the crowd goes wild. As the match continues, Buffy and Kamala watch closely, taking notes on each robot's strengths and weaknesses. Suddenly, one of the robots goes haywire, its arms flailing wildly as it spins out of control. The crowd screams in horror as the robot crashes into the arena wall. Buffy and Kamala jump to their feet, ready to intervene. But before they can act, the robot suddenly stops, its lights flickering back to life.
What just happened?
I don't know, but it looks like the robot just rebooted itself.
Do you think it's being hacked?
Buffy nods, her eyes scanning the arena.
There's something controlling that thing. We need to find them.
Kamala nods, and the two of them leap into action, sprinting toward the arena. As they reach the edge of the arena, they spot a figure huddled behind a control panel, frantically typing on a laptop.
There they are.
Kamala charges forward, ready to take down the hacker, but as she gets closer, she suddenly stops, her eyes widening in shock.
Wait, I know that person.
Buffy looks closer and recognizes the face of a former Sunnydale High student.
You do?
See.
Oh.
That was amazing. That was good.
Actually would happen in Buffy. Like there are several like the was it Warren or Warner? I can't remember the character, but there were some tech geek people who gave
Yes.
Buffy like a lot of trouble in her life.
I actually really enjoyed mind. I could see that happening. I was excited. Audience members, you're being really supportive in the chat. Is there anything that you kind of noticed about what ChatGPT did, or anything that sticks out, or was there anything in particular that you enjoyed or thought was silly or cliched, or?
Yeah, while we're letting them go, I think my favorite thing was it both understood how like there needs to be some kind of conflict. We didn't ask it to like give us a conflict. I was assuming that eventually like we would be fighting with robots, but it gave us a scenario where our heroes were about to be heroic. So understood enough about the characters that it's like they wouldn't be necessarily fighting robots, but they would be assisting post a robot disaster.
I found it interesting that when I first thought about the prompt, I was like, oh, they're going to be on different BattleBot teams. Because I feel like that's the way a human would have processed that, but it had them like judging BattleBots. And I was like, there's a little thing there of to outside people, Buffy and Kamala are famous. In their own worlds, they are not. So why Buffy was not a great student, and Kamala was also like kind of middling because she doesn't get enough sleep. But I'm just like, this is a very weird thing of layering outside knowledge and inserting it into the story
Like a croissant.
like a croissant.
And at least at this point, I feel like as Kamala, I wanted to like, why didn't I get to use my powers or anything like that? Like I
She
felt like,
embiggened nothing.
Mhm.
yeah,
And also Buffy has this layer of she doesn't actually do team ups and or like doesn't have a like she has the Scoobies, but not actual a superhero team outside of that. Most of what she does is hidden in the shadows and
Mhm.
trying to, keep all of that identity secret. So anytime she's interacting with the world that's when she's not being a vampire slayer, she would actually not jump into action. So it understood what superheroes should do, but not these individual superheroes.
We do have a delightful edit request
Ooh.
yeah.
on
So
this, which
oh,
yeah,
sorry.
someone suggested just to see what Chat GTP does of add the note of make one of the robots turn into a vampire and just see what GTP does with that.
Mhm.
I said make one of the robots turn into a vampire and make Kamala use her powers. And it just
Excellent.
did something. So let me I can copy and paste this and put this into our Google Doc.
Also, I agree that the narration portions do feel very robotic.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I said the word arena 19 times.
Mm. And sometimes chat does a thing that I is interesting, feels very human, but also like somewhat of a cop out where it's like, I want you to include this thing. And it does include that thing, but very literally, like it said, the arena is filled with nostalgic 1980s vibe, but absolutely nothing else to give us that vibe.
Neon in arcade machines.
Eh.
I know. Suddenly, the robot that had been hacked transforms into a vampire. Its eyes glow red as it bares its fangs and charges toward Buffy and Kamala.
Great. Just what we need, a robot vampire.
It is just what we need.
Yeah.
Kamala takes a step back, but then grits her teeth and steps forward, ready to use her powers.
I got this.
She
Great, I
raises her
got
fists
this.
and her body begins to glow with energy. She charges at the vampire, her fists smashing into its chest. The vampire staggers back and then regains its footing, lunging forward with its claws. Buffy joins the fight, wielding a wooden stake.
You distract it, I'll take it out.
Kamala nods, and the two of them work together to keep the vampire at bay. Kamala uses her shape shifting powers to create duplicates of herself, confusing the vampire and allowing Buffy to get in close with her stake. Finally, Buffy plunges the stake into the vampire robot heart, and it crumbles into dust. The crowd cheers as Buffy and Kamala stand victorious. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our judges turned heroes, Buffy Summers and Kamala Khan. Buffy and Kamala take a bow, grinning at each other.
That was unexpected.
Tell me about it. I thought we were just judging a robot battle, not fighting vampires.
Welcome to Sunnydale.
They both laugh, and the crowd continues to cheer as the 80s inspired robot battle comes to an end.
A delight.
You
But
got those 80s
improved.
vibes back for you. They heard you.
They do. It hurt. I feel very seen. I like that with the prompting, and I think it's a lot using chat is a lot about prompting and like narrowing it to what you exactly want because it we didn't say give Buffy powers as well. We said we want Kamala to have her powers, but Buffy had like a stake and actually an action plan, which is very similar. Like somebody distracts Buffy, stabs, and then a quippy like "Welcome to Sunnydale" at the end, which I was like, I appreciate that a lot. No, we do still have no cliffhanger.
still have a mystery hacker and a
Oh, you're
lot
right.
of how do you stake how do you stake a robot?
I mean, there usually we don't stake the robots. I feel in Buffy, it's more of a like giant missile situation. There was Adam, yeah, from the
Yeah, Adam
series.
was like maybe the Slayer scythe and you just chop it.
Yeah,
I think we just normally brute force out our robots.
heads removing heads. I feel is the actual
85% of the time, decapitation is a successful form of slowing someone down.
yeah. Yeah. So what did you both feel about using chat and kind of how that experience goes so far? And thoughts about how this might impact film and media?
I think there's one of the things that I think chat really does, and we've been playing with it at my office and just trying to find ways to use it, is kind of this realization that it's a great first half machine. If you ever have used, like, I do NaNoWriMo most years, unless I'm drowning for some reason. But sometimes you're just stuck and you don't know what you're doing. You just want to do the exercise of practicing writing. And I have been known to use the little like auto plot generators. And I feel like this feels like the starting points that come out of those. Of just like, it's basically gibberish. Well, in this case, it's a 3-year-old telling you a story they're really excited about. but being able to go like, "This is a fun thing that I can laugh with that then gets my mind going." Because I think we saw it with our lovely Twitch chat, their prompts got more specific and more quirky and more weird, that they were actually inspiring creativity from our people, even though it wasn't like, "Oh, yes, this is ready to be shot. This is perfect. This is golden for cinema."
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think it can be a useful tool if we interact with it or if we keep going, kind of putting in more layers into it. And I think also, if for anyone who's maybe trying to work with young people and talk about the conventions of screenwriting, it has picked up on those conventions. We do have the interior cruise ship day, we have fade ins. Everything is written, I think, mostly in present tense. A lot of times when people teach screenwriting, you really have to let people know, with film, for the most part, you have to see it or hear it. Like if, it often is this should create a movie in your mind. And I think ChatGPT has picked up on a lot of those conventions of screenwriting. And so but then I think in some ways, as fun as this has been, and as much as it's made us laugh and giggle and all that, I feel a little bit like, this very much is first level creativity, surface level creativity. And I think as human beings, we can go so much further with our creativity and making things a little bit, I think I would also want to ask students, I would want to define for them what cliches are and ask them, what cliches do you notice? Because I think for someone to be saying like, "I got this," like I feel like that's like one of the biggest like that like as a line, like maybe initially that was a good line, but I feel like now so many characters are always saying, "I got this," and then doing something, and so there were some aspects of it that felt, very, very cliched, like not that great. So I think, structurally and formally it was fine, and there's a lot that we can work with as a model. But Atina, kind of like you, I don't necessarily feel like, wow, this is so amazing. Let's start shooting it. But if someone was excited about starting shooting it, maybe for some people it's a little bit harder for them to write 3, 4, 5 pages on their own. And so if this is giving someone the experience of having generated streaming narrative text that they're excited about, that could be a very good stage in their, themselves as a writer.
Now that you said maybe if someone's really excited about shooting it, I could 100% see a film class at a high school level or like a fun public library project of, we're going to do these short prompts into ChatGTP and then we're going to actually try to film them. Because frankly, that would be an absolute blast for a high school like filmmaking class to just do something like those. Like, okay, how is this? How does this? If you try to actually direct and do this, if this is the information you had, this is the script you were given, what does that end up looking like? Because you have things, especially in this last one, that had a lot of narration, um, but a lot of it's just like quick actions and glances, and maybe it's a lot for me to read, but it would be
Mhm.
very minimal on camera. And I'm just a little curious about how, I think it would be an awesome and entertaining project for a public or a school library to try to do, or even like a freshman intro to film class. My brother teaches cinematography. I'm like, hey, Nicholas, you should do this with your students. Just
Well, in
to,
our wonderful chat, we have
mhm,
people, that's the cool thing about doing any kind of event with ALA. There are so many great educators and people working with young people in the ALA. So um, we have librarian Pablo mentioning it could help when writers feel stuck. I think a lot of us have noticed this sometimes with people where they want to participate, they want to do something, but maybe they feel stuck in their writing.
right.
Tiffany says it's totally fun and interactive. I could see using this in teen programming. So this might be a way to, make something fun for teenagers to start working with and being creative in. Um, Professor Runsell says we have a professor using ChatGPT to help students critique emails. So I think people seem to be getting all worked up about what ChatGPT does without necessarily saying, this is a good site for us to like generate some script and let's critique its rhetoric. Let's
Hmm.
critique its structure. And those are very, I think, really cool, like high order thinking skills for thinking
Yeah.
about writing and rhetorical situations. Sometimes the blank page can be very intimidating to start writing. Generating the bad prompts could break that very. I mean, and for some people, starting with something that's bad or not that great really gives a platform for improvement and revision. Um, librarian Pablo says I can see it being a great tool for world building, like writing lore for a D&D campaign setting. So I think all of us, as folks in libraries or in education, we can see that this is definitely something that can be critiqued and can be rejected, but it's also something that for some learners could be fun or interesting or help them think about where they're at in their own writing creative processes.
And in studying, kind of because we talked about this in previous sessions, studying film and studying all these things, I think what chat does very well is kind of show a mirror to what we as humans are creating and putting out in the world. Because chat is just auto generating from a set data from 2021, and then essentially pulling the most common words or most common idea that will happen after, which is why cliches happen, because cliches are kind of the most, they happen so much that the chat sees it and pulls it from that. So if we look at chat and we look at kind of these film stories or scenes that's creating, it's like, well, why is it creating that? How many times has this happened in its data set that it's like, this is obviously
Mhm.
the thing that's going to happen next? Like if there's, a dark and stormy night, or if there's a pan to this, or there's a glance here, or there's the let's do that, it's because we're writing in that way, or like us as humans are putting that out into the data set there. So we can kind of look at that as a artifact of
Mhm.
creation and be like, well, what does this say about our media?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff it seems like it's coming from anything on Reddit that has more than 3 upvotes. It's coming from Wikipedia. I mean, it's the open internet. It's not stuff that's really behind paywalls,
Mhm.
or that's under copyright. So I think you're totally right, Danielle, that this is it's kind of a test for just what is known about Sauron or Squirrel Girl, or like if they're actually not just standing there but doing stuff, like is the information out there? But do we have one time? We're 10 minutes away. Do we have a
I think,
lightning round in us to?
yeah, let's
Yeah.
chat, just give us stuff.
Just give
Like
give
Twitter, just
quick
whatever stories you want, we'll put it all together in a mishmash and do one last scene.
one last one will be very silly,
Yes.
as
Give
compared
us
to the absolute seriousness that has pervaded the previous 40 minutes.
So we
with
need
great
heroes.
dedication. Yes, we need heroes, we need a setting, we need a theme, and otherwise we will just like live from our imaginations too. Dave the Gnome, yes, Dave the Gnome 100% is a superhero. With Iceman, the ultimate Brendan Fraser Iceman, yes.
All right, so David the Gnome and Iceman
hmm where are they meeting? What are they doing, friends? Could be another meet cute. Oh,
in outer
they're
space.
in outer space, a place that David maybe not has been. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm claiming Iceman because I don't know David the Gnome's voice.
Absolutely. I will be the voice of God. I also don't know David's voice. Elliot, good luck.
I'll go with it.
Just nodded real quick.
Attending
Attending
a
Being
pub
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 trivia.
trivia.
trivia in outer space.
Let's
All right.
do it.
Perfect.
Do we need a vibe?
Um, looking for pop rocks. What is the looking for pop rocks? Inquisitive, excited, positive. Yeah,
Positive?
yeah. Do some positive vibes. We'll roll out in something fun. It's as if everything else, like you're saying, Atina, has been serious and
I mean, this whole day, this whole afternoon has just been really hard hitting, serious things. I think it's nice to have a little bit of
oh,
levity.
and they're serving pop rocks at the pub. I would like to see how chat interprets
Okay.
serving pop rocks at the pub. Thank you, Twitch chat. As always, you are a delight and a source of great amusement and wonder.
Now I want pop rocks.
Pop rocks are bad for the mic, though. It's like,
Oh no, they're horrible. They hurt me. But that's like the fun of a pop rock, isn't it?
I mean, like eating pineapple, it's eating you back, but we're going to be victorious at the end.
All right, I'm going to put in a movie script for David the Gnome and Iceman in outer space. They are attending pub trivia where they are being served pop rocks, and the mood is positive and inquisitive.
There we
Yeah,
go.
let's do it. Sometimes I do feel chat takes one idea and like just beats it like a dead horse. It's like, no, I'm going to run with only this one thing.
No, we have a wacky group today, and that makes it so much better.
And Elizabeth has put in a recipe for drinks with pop rocks. A perfect ending. Our official drink of the session.
I wonder how they would taste in a croissant.
I mean, we people have layers.
Like a
Some of those
croissant.
layers are pop rock layers. Oh. And I think would be a good time while Elliot is getting that all squared away to plug our last event. Will be we're going to be doing Cape and Bureaus as our final game and TTRPG session. We'll do an actual play with a couple of us, and please stick around if you have time for that. But as always, everything will be recorded and all will be well. If you do want to attend pub trivia, I'm going to plug it as many times as I can. ALA, Games RT Roundtable, and Rusa will be doing a joint pub trivia together, and where you are competing for glory and potentially a trophy. I'm not quite sure, but mostly glory and the ability to say I'm the smartest librarian in all the land for a year.
That's them are fighting words.
They are. We tried very hard last year. Games RT did our very best. We did not win. I want to give a shout out to the team that did win, who were mostly all Jeopardy previous contestants. And so, yes, we're amazing and excellent. And it was a ton of fun to keep like eyeing them throughout the conference. Yes, it is trivia at Chicago. So
Nice.
I don't remember what night, but if you follow us on Games RT events, we'll post everything so that way you can see, because there's a big play event. There's a lot of shenanigans. We're going to hang out with our film and media friends and our graphic novel friends, and we're just going to have a good old time.
It's gonna be a hoot and a half and a holler, as the kids say.
Yes, the kids indeed do say that.
The kids indeed doth say it so.
Yes, bet.
Whoa.
I know.
We've got some script if we need it, but we can also just
Yes,
keep going
alright.
on with doths and do's.
Let's see. So we are at round 3. Yes.
I feel like I'm missing one last paste, but
There we go.
okay.
Fade in. Exterior, outer space, night. We see David the Gnome and Iceman floating through the vast expanse of space. They're both wearing their spacesuits. Their helmets are reflecting the stars in the distance.
Iceman, I've heard about this place called the Space Pub. They say they have the best pub trivia in the universe.
Really, David? I didn't know you were a pub trivia enthusiast.
Ah, I love it. You never know what kind of knowledge you'll need in the galaxy.
They both float towards a neon lit building in the distance. As they enter, they see a crowded room with creatures of all shapes and sizes huddled around tables, sipping neon drinks and nibbling on pop rocks.
This is it, Iceman. The Space Pub.
Let's do this, David.
They float towards the bar, take a seat. The bartender, a 6-armed creature with a friendly smile, approaches them. Oh, bartender, I guess. What can I get you two for tonight?
We'll have 2 galaxy specials and a bowl of pop rocks.
Yes. That's going to be a ribbon. That's going to be an ALA ribbon.
I could have gotten more. I mean, I should have copied and pasted more. I mean, there was, but I
That
figured,
was beautiful.
And a bowl of pop rocks.
you know,
Absolutely does not know who David the Gnome is. But he tried very hard.
I'm just over here going, I have never in my life seen anyone serve pop rocks in a bowl. The humidity hazard. Well, I guess the humidity hazard's low in space.
Maybe day space and night space are 2 different things,
I mean, we're like floating in to the space pub.
the Space Pub. That is very first level creativity. I mean, I would rewrite that Space Pub.
I do like the
No
plot
notes,
hole of
no
how
notes.
how does the food happen? Because you're still in your spacesuits and you floated up. There wasn't like a enter the
There was no airlock, right?
Yeah. No, there was no area. Although I do love the detail of the 6-armed
As they
alien.
enter.
As they
So
enter.
let's just pretend that as they enter is we're seeing through the airlock and they see a bunch of people partying with their neon lights and pop rocks.
Yeah, love it so much.
I just, we have a question about could ChatGPT come up with trivia questions? I hope that's not a criticism about ours, but no.
That
Yeah,
is a
I
good question.
wonder.
I have tried to make trivia with ChatGPT, and here's kind of the interesting limitations. While it is excellent at making kind of trivia categories, it needs a lot of help in making trivia, because one of the questions was like, make a food trivia round. And it was like, okay, what is the main ingredient in apple pie? And so it will make questions that are actual questions with actual answers, but it doesn't quite get the level of difficulty or
Cinnamon.
complexity that a trivia question might. However, you can help it kind of zhuzh it around where I made categories of like four things that are the same. So I needed four ice superheroes or four flame superheroes, and then I would do the part of put all the pictures together to ask people what do these characters have in common. And so it's very good at figuring out who are the like which person has what power or what unique trait, but not the kind of creating the question part of it.
Mhm. And it kinda did like, it just gave me a bunch of, like I think we would have had to come up with the questions, but it just said, like, the first superhero movie was Superman and the Mole Man in 1951. The first live action Batman movie was released in 1966 and starred Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin. The first Spider-Man movie was released in 2002 and starred Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man/Peter Parker. But I guess a lot of us know, like, that ChatGPT does quote unquote hallucinate. And I don't know if all you have,
Mhm.
Hmm.
at least at the University of Washington Seattle libraries, we have gotten some serious, weird, bizarre bibliography that is very complete and comes with
Oh yeah.
DOIs and everything, and yet it's not real.
It understands the form of human
Mhm.
artifacts. It does not know that those artifacts are real or not, nor does it care,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
good for things that are formulaic, like scripts sometimes, or like I need to send a follow-up email or say like I'm out of town kind of thing. But when it's, genuine, you want to create like does not understand what is actually real.
I think we've all saw that a hallucination of it trying to convince somebody that the second Avatar movie hadn't came out yet because it was like no we are in the past just because it didn't have numbers for it.
Yeah. And I would definitely like it is very convincing. It is super good at being confidently wrong, confidently
Mhm.
incorrect. So if you're using chat in something other than like a fun format or like a exploratory format like this, and you're actually going with your students, I would definitely be like, here's some things. It's only to 2021. It's not connected to the internet. It does
Mhm.
lie. It doesn't care to tell you. Occasionally, when you call it out, it's like, maybe I'm lying. I don't know. Who knows?
Or
I'm just
sometimes
a
like maybe
robot,
you're lying. Why are you trying to trick me?
which is such a it's such a funny kind of
So immature.
conversation.
ChatGPT, so, so immature.
Just needs to age a little bit,
Yeah. Come
hang
on.
out with some people.
But I think that this is one of those of don't trust its facts because they're facts.
Mhm.
But also when it is really fun to play with, and I think it's a disservice to like ourselves if we don't play with it and realize its capabilities and limitations. Because I'm a cataloger. I've already been asked how can we use this to speed up the cataloging process, and it's just one of those of I need to play with it to figure out what are the extents of that this technology can do, and the way anyone starts playing with it is kind of being silly and goofy. I had it tell me a story about puppies and unicorns one day when I was having a rough day, and it's not a great story, but it made me smile.
Yeah,
My goals were achieved. But I think there's always this very real thing of um, you have to poke it to figure out what it's gonna screw up. So let's continue to poke these things with sticks because that's how we do science.
it is, and that's how we do things in Game RT. We poke things at sticks, and we play around, and we explore, and then we talk about it with each other, and we come to good conclusions.
I mean, I've been poked by a stick by you all, and it's it's
Elliot didn't mind at all. I mean,
didn't
it's
mind
part
at
of the
all.
initiation for Roundtable,
Part
you
of the
know?
experiment. And we're done.
And on that note, thank you all for coming. We're going to do a 15-minute break. Feel free to refresh your water, massage your cheeks after all the laughing, and we will come back and do a live playthrough thanks to Games and Gaming. So see you all in 15.